Today I'm going to demonstrate how to do the Foundation Single Crochet, which is a stitch that's an alternative to doing a chain and then a row of single crochets on top of the chains. To begin, you're going to need to do a slip knot at the beginning. So the essence of the Foundation Single Crochet is to do the chain and a single crochet at the same time, and I'm going to demonstrate how that's going to be working as we go. So after you make your slip knot, you're going to put your hook in like usual, and then you're going to chain 2. So I'm going to chain 1 and then chain 2. So for this very first stitch is going to be a little bit different, but then I'll show you how it's actually the same as all the rest of the stitches that we make. So to begin, we're going to insert your hook into the second chain from the hook, so this one, or just like the chain closest to your slip knot. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to pull up a loop. So pulling up a loop. So this is where the chain and single crochet come in. So first I'm going to make a chain just using this loop that we just pulled up. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to yarn over once and then only pull through this first loop. So I'm going to pull through the first one and not go into the second one. As a result, we've just made this little chain at the bottom over here. And you can see that we still have 2 loops on our hook because we didn't go into this first loop that we had. Then we're going to do the single crochet part of the stitch by yarning over and then pulling through both loops, just like we would if we were making a single crochet. So that is your first foundation single crochet done, and you can see that we did it by making first a chain and then a single crochet. To continue, this is the tricky part. You're going to put your hook into the second stitch from the hook. Just like we put our hook into the second chain from the hook in the beginning, we're going to find the second stitch from the hook. And to identify which one that is, you're going to notice that at the end of your hook, you have 2 loops right here. So this one that looks a little bit squished, that's farther away from your hook, and then this one that's a little bit bigger, that's closer to your hook. And this, by the way, is our first stitch. So this is the V of the first stitch, and you see, like in front of it, you'll see this tiny little squished part that's actually a loop. So that's your first stitch, and then you're going to go to the second one away from it. So to identify which loop to go into, you just find the small one that's close to your hook, and then you find the one behind it. So I'm going to go in there, just go under it, and then like before, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then now we have to do the chain part of the foundation single crochet. So I'm going to yarn over and do a chain in the first loop only, and not going into this loop yet, and then we're going to do the single crochet part of the FSC, and to do that we're going to yarn over and go through both loops, just like we would if we were doing a single crochet. And once again, you can see that we've made our second stitch over here. You can tell by the V. But on the bottom, we've made this tiny squished loop and this larger loop behind it. So to continue, we're going to have to go into the larger second loop behind the squished one. So I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then we're going to make the chain by yarning over and going through the first loop only, and then we're going to yarn over one more time and then go through both loops. So that was our third foundation single crochet. I'm just going to do a few more and walk you through it as I go. So I'm going to do my fourth foundation single crochet, I'm going to identify the squished loop that's on the bottom of my work right here, and then I'm going to identify the larger loop right behind it, and this is what I'm going to work into. So I'm going to go in under that loop, and then I'm going to pull up a loop, and then to work my chain I'm going to yarn over and go into the first loop only, and then I'm going to yarn over again and go through both loops. And that was my fourth foundation single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually what you're doing is you're creating chains on the bottom and then working single crochets on top of them as you go, without having to make the chains, and then go back and do the single crochets on top of it. So I'll just do one more. So I'm going to identify this tiny squished loop in the front first, and then I'm going to identify the loop behind it. I'm going to go into that loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then form my chain by going into this first loop only. There we go. And then yarn over again and go through both loops to create the single crochet. So there, we've just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foundation single crochets. And to continue, you just make as many as the pattern says you need, and then you could either work in turned rows by chaining one and then turning, or you could work in joined rows, joined rounds by just slip stitching to the initial foundation single crochet.